Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Nioh Raoh build on my level 1 Legend of the Conqueror run. So you just saw me miss the parry there. Really important note to take away from that. You get rewarded with this weird block when you fuck up a parry timing, which is kind of good and it's kind of bad, because not only will it drain you of stamina and stun you and make you flinch, but it does save you as well, even though it can put you in a spot where someone else will kill you. So it's an interesting mechanic, and it's worth discussing, because the parry timing is different between weapons in this game. The swords and the dual swords are very comparable. The Kusarigama is a little bit later than the swords. The spear is a little bit sooner than the swords, it seems, and then the bare hands is a little bit sooner than the spear. So it's very close to each other on a gradient, but they do feel different, and my timing is 100% with the swords. I'm not good at the Kusari, I'm not good at the spear, and I'm not good with bare hands yet. But with the swords, I can get almost most of the moves I try first time. Whereas with this one, I feel like you have to do it just as they react. Just as you see the move, you press it, you get it. If you wait for it and try and time it as you normally should with a parry, you'll miss, and you'll get that weird block. So it's a good opportunity to practice it, because there's quite a lot of humanoids here. And it's something that's going to pay off against Tachibana at the end of this mission. But up until that point, we're going to be fighting the Nioh, which is one of my least favourite bosses in the game. And it's not because I don't like how it looks, even though I think it looks kind of shitty. And it's not because it doesn't have potential, because I think there's a lot of potential. It's just a list of factors that make it less fun than it could be. The first of which is the environment you fight it in. I don't know why they put a bunch of obstacles in the area that you can't break, but the boss can. Because then it leads to these moments where you get chased down by thunder that's far too, good at its job. And you clip on something and get killed by it, because you get chased by random bolts of thunder that the boss always fires your way. Which I think adds to a measure of just laziness to design and lacking enjoyment for the player, because nobody wants to contend with having to navigate an area that's filled with obstacles that you can't see because you're locked onto a boss. It leads to awkwardness. And then there's the boss's proclivity towards electrocuting you from up close. There are certain moves where he can do electricity, and it's almost instant. And to get close to him to do damage, you have to put yourself in the radius of that move. So if he sits back and hits you with that lightning, the first hit stuns you, the second hit kills you. And I don't agree with that at all. I think there should be more telegraphing to it. You'll see it in a moment. So he spawns in. That's it, just then. It does 2 bolts. The first one is close to the boss, the second one is close to you. It will shift depending on where you are. When he shakes his fur, that means he's going to do the electricity, which I think is 4 times. And then we want to hug his side and do damage. Whenever he does the kind of prostration, it means he's going to spin. And you want this laser that he does there. If he does the laser, you can get in his side and you can punish it. One of the great aspects of learning the Nioh fight is that once you learn this guy, you already have about half of the moveset of the White Tiger that's coming up. And they are both very different battles in a lot of different ways, but principally very similar. So here's his roly-poly move that he didn't do, sometimes he does, and here's his electricity. So you can use this as an opportunity to get close. I like to work mid to long distance before coming in to bait moves like that and punish them, but never get greedy because it ends in awkward situations. Here's the lightning, get past it, hit him. And here is another design that I don't like in this fight. Whenever you break his stamina, when you hit him, it will auto reset your character position regardless of where you are to directly in front of him. And it's awful, because you lose all situational advantage that you had against the boss. And I don't know why they did that, because they don't do it with a lot of the other enemies, they just let you wail on them. But for some reason this guy got special treatment that saves him from potentially incredible damage. Because you could do all those hits I just did on his bumhole and get extra damage, which, why would you not do that? It's the smart thing to do. And then when he does one of those telegraphed moves with the tail, you dodge it, you attack him while he's doing it, and you've got a really good cycle going. But we weren't afforded that luxury because of how the boss is designed. And something else you need to contend with here is that the pools of energy on the floor, the yokai realm, on level 1 it's a big deal, because it affects you way more than it will your build at the moment. You forget just how cushioned you are with all those abilities and all those levels, and then you come back to this and Your stamina goes down way quicker, you get affected by everything, so be very careful. There's the double hit. Each of those electricity will drop one of those pools of yokai pollution. There's a couple of hits. I'm not going to get greedy on those hits because I don't want to get stun locked by the recovery bolt, which is bullshit and it happens a lot. Here is the 4 thunder strikes. You can use this as an opportunity to close the distance, or you can bait the laser, which I like to do. And you see that? I got fucked by the collision just then. It's one of those things that this game does a lot too. When they're moving, they're essentially a big box of moving physics. When they touch your big box of moving physics, the relationship that then happens is weird. And because of the way he swept his head, he pushed me out of where I was rolling towards, which was his left-hand paw, to get past it. He pushed me back into the line of the beam, and I took a hit, which, admittedly, I could have rolled better, but what can you do when it comes to stuff like that? It's one of those mistakes that happen because of the way games work. If he had no collision on him then, and I could have just rolled under his face and got behind him, it would have been fine. But alas, it's not the way the game works. And I survived, which is the good news. So I can continue hitting him with this electric Raikiri, which I just thought was hilarious at the time, but you'll have to be the judge of that. So here's his grab, big telegraph, big lunging distance, nice opportunity to do big damage. But do you see how the element is doing no damage because he's electric? I thought that was funny. Because you would think it would still do something, right? I might have gone in as far as to do it heals him, just to fuck those players that have unfortunately specced into the wrong element. Because I love things like that. Oh, interesting! I'm a liar! Did you see that? The auto reset only happens at a certain distance, it seems. I have never noticed that, and I just did it, which is ridiculous. How did I not notice that? That's really important to know. If you stun him from behind, he does not auto reset to put you in front, like he did just then. I was at his side, then I'm in front of him. It doesn't work at the back. That's really powerful, guys. Use it. I didn't realise at all. And I've killed this boss like 20 times. That's terrible of me. But every penny helps. Interesting, he did the poison breath. But we're closing up now. There's the big laser attack, and this should be the kill. So don't get too greedy, but put him down. And then we're going to transition just here to what happens when I am Keno, master of the fist, and I come back with the fist talisman to introduce this guy to the concept of pain. So watch this. Oh yeah, that's a bit more like it. Be careful of that, very dangerous. Big kick, 800 damage. Here comes the lightning. Can we get up his bottom and give him a big shunt? Here's the electricity, kick him in the bum, Chris. Ooh, look at that. 1300 off a crit. Then we punch him, keep him stunned, and as soon as he rears up, we get out of there. Awesome. What does he do now? Electricity? More electricity. I'm going to use it to dump more pollution in areas that are already polluted, even though they don't stack. Did you see that? This is back to standard damage now, so I need to use the talisman quickly, because this is not going to cut it. Here he comes. Should be able to use it now. There you go. What's he going to do? Electricity? No, grab. Watch out for this. Very dangerous. His stamina's low though, so we might be able to punish him here. Here's the claw attack. There's the auto reset. Garbage. Here's a couple of one hits so I don't get stuck in animations. Is that the spin? That is the spin. And there's the electricity. And there is the laser, which is perfect spacing for the laser. Perfect result. And there is a dead Nioh. No damage as well. The fist is very powerful. But anyway, back to the level. So, that's me showing you the weapon as I take it off, and then we can go back to the fists. But that was interesting because at this point in the run, not the point you just saw because that's way later, that was yesterday, this was like a week back, I didn't know whether or not I was going to share it because so far I'd only fought one boss under the restrictions that I wanted, and the other two bosses I'd killed with weapons, which I just felt like he's going to be like everybody else's level 1 run. I noticed a lot of people were naked during their runs, which is an interesting choice. I would have done that if it wasn't for the fact that I hate being naked in games. I like wearing cool stuff and making my dude look cool. And at the moment I do have the mariner pants on with a hole in the back, which irritates me to no end. But I don't have any other leggings that match my outfit. I've got a couple in mind, I just don't have them on me. As I mess around with the gestures here. so that I can do the same gesture as this guy. Which I think the gesture he's doing is the same one that the guy on the bridge does when he kills you, because he does this where he widens his hands and steps around a little bit. I was using him last night to get my proficiency up on my sword, because I could do massive damage to him and he had so much life, so it just helped. So I could wail on him, wail on him, wail on him, and then run off the bridge, kill myself, and then wail on him again. And then I ended up doing the proficiency test, which unlocked a nice Master Samurai locks, which was nice, but once again it's for weapons I'm not technically allowed to use, and it's frustrating because the bare fists could have had so many moves. Cool moves. Think of how cool fist movesets could be. The spear has tons of really cool moves. The axe has tons of really cool moves. Every weapon in this game has tons of cool moves except for the fists. And I don't know, maybe it'll come in DLC, maybe it'll be something that they patch in. That'd be really nice, but I just don't see it happening. You know, it seems like something that they thought, oh, we can add this statistic to help bare fists, and maybe somebody will do one of those silly runs. But they seem to have forgotten that it has to be fun to do for people to want to do it. And I think that's the issue that I have at the moment. As much as I'm enjoying the run a lot more now I have the talisman, because I've been having really cool fights with bosses, and it's forced me to fight them different ways and learn different things about them. Like I learnt yesterday with Yoko Ono as I call her, John Lennon's concubine, his succubi, that using the knee attack from the Kusarigama is a really good way of breaking her stamina, and then once her stamina's broken, I swap to the fists, I use the fist talisman, and then I stunlock her with the really high damage fists. And then she recovers, I swap back to the Kusarigama, and we repeat the dance again, only now she's in the second phase. So I have to watch out for that icicle move that hits me sometimes, even though I know how to dodge it, which is kind of frustrating. And it was a tough fight, but it was a fun fight. And then the White Tiger. Fighting the White Tiger yesterday, I realised that using the left hook to hit his eye and get that critical was a pretty good strategy, and I had one run that was perfect because I kept him in a loop of hitting him in the eye, stunning him, getting behind him, kicking him in the bum, getting a crit. He'd turn around, I'd hit him in the eye, get a stun, and then I'd get behind him, dodge his attack, and kick him in the bum. And I did almost 90% of his life bar doing that. It was one of the best cycles on that boss I've ever seen. And then he bullshitted me and hit through an attack that should have stunned him because I hit him in the face. And then every attempt afterwards, it didn't stun him because he has to be in a neutral state for the eye to stun him. And if he starts an attack, he'll trade with him and you'll lose. And I just couldn't get it to do it after that. So I was learning all these interesting things that were happening. And it was the same with Okatsu. Have you noticed how when you want Okatsu to do that dash attack that's easy to parry, she does everything but that move. The other day she did that grab, and I've not seen the grab in ages and I'd forgot it existed. She did a full combo and followed it up with a grab. I kicked her, she still grabbed me through it. It was so weird. Like seeing patterns I've never seen before, seeing attacks I've never seen before. This wealth of information that is yet to be learned is really enjoyable, and it's way more fun. But the moment that talisman wears off, it's back to being kinda shitty again, which is really unfortunate. Also guys, I don't know my way around this level very well. I've done it maybe 5 or 6 times and I still get lost and I still end up running the wrong way, so you'll have to bear with me as I navigate it. But so far the run has just got to Immortal Flame, the level with Saika Magoichi, and I'm pretty comfortable with that boss fight, but I don't know about it with the bare fists. Because my strategy normally is to stunlock him with dual swords, and that's it, and then riposte him when he gets knackered. The foundation of that strategy involves essentially hitting him to get him to block, he'll then counter with the gun, and then moving to the side and hitting him again. But with the fists, you don't really get any kind of priority, you don't get any kind of real impact, so I don't think that's going to work the same. So my strategy's going to have to change, I think, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait the knife attack, bait the jumping knife and parry that, and then maybe get behind him and do a full combo behind him. I'm not too sure. As it stands, I'm kind of concerned because he's an easy boss, but at the same time, when you don't have the damage, it means you're going to fight him for a long time. So I'm concerned in how that's going to look. Maybe I'll use a ninjutsu point and get a shuriken, so that when he's in midair, I can throw a shuriken at him and bounce him out of midair, and then get a nice crit on the floor, something like that. Use a technique to pull him down, and that could work. I guess we'll find out when we get there. But we're now meeting up with Okatsu, and she's going to be helping us now. She's really useful because she has the ability to stun people. She can slow them down with electricity, she can paralyze them, she can confuse them as well, which I don't know how she does that because I haven't discovered that aspect of the builds that let you do that, but it's really interesting. Another thing that's interesting too is Discord, the chaos technique, which if you don't know, it's when you build two status debuffs at the same time on a character. It'll go into a state where it shows a yin and yang symbol, and it crushes the enemy's ki, and it enables you to essentially bully them until they get it back, or until it drains away. And if you get that on you, it puts you in a really bad spot because you have no priority at all. It's not that difficult to do. I've done it on my level 1 build, because I had electricity in the sword, and I used bombs to get fire on people. So once you have electricity, throw 2 bombs, and you'll get them in Discord, and then you can proceed to just bully them. But I'm trying to find a way to make it apply to my build, because I can't use a sword on this build. I'm using a sword when I'm doing things like farming, and when I'm trying to get stuff to get items so that I can continue the build. But other than those points, I'm at the point now where I don't use it. So strategy for Munashige is always the same. Get him to do the moves that you can parry, and then parry them. Punish the moves you can't parry, and use power pills. That's what I'm doing at the moment to make this a little bit quicker. If I had the Mystic Art to cast instantly, Carnage would be so powerful, but as it stands, that casting time is going to get you killed. But the pillars in here can be great for stopping attacks, even though I don't recommend that you use them just so that you can learn the timings of the dodges, because the dodges are important, and unless you get them, you will die a lot in the open prairie during the Invitational. Unless you hug the rock, which I wish they'd remove, but that's just me. So there's the grab. You know, one thing I hate about this guy's charging moves is he has 3 possible outcomes, but they all begin the same. I hate that. It leads to ambiguity, it leads to confusion, it leads to hesitation. They should all have different startups so that you know what they are, and you know which ones you can punish and which ones you can't. That would be perfect game design, but unfortunately they want it to be obscure, they want it to get you into a bad spot, and it's a shame. But we knock him down, kick him on the foot. There's going to be no talisman here, guys, because this is actually taken directly from the run at the right time. Because he's human. Anyone human can be parried. Anyone who can be parried can be killed, effectively. And that's all we're going to do here, folks. As he does the bullshit dog that he likes to spam at low life, and his various other attacks. There is heavy stance. There's going to be a second hit on that, which you can parry, but apparently I didn't think to do it. Don't know why. There it is again. Could have parried that, but instead I'm playing this safe. Very easy to make a mistake against this boss. He's very dangerous. You might call him easy, but like anything else, he can be difficult. The pillar will stop the dog, unless the dog goes through the pillar. Then you're in trouble, because it does a second hit, which is really awkward. There it is, there's the end of the fight. And there is Tachibana. So, hopefully you were able to learn something from that encounter. Mid stance is the easiest one to parry, low stance is the trickiest because it's very fast, but for the more you fight him, the more you'll understand the timings and the easier he will be. So thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.